and the MG will just mow us down. So, yeah,
Just climb over on the left side. Just climb over on the left side, alright?
Guys, do not sprint outside before I tell you to, or you're gonna trap us all inside, and we're gonna die, and we're gonna have not a pleasant evening.
Hi, I'm just gonna do something to do because I'm an engineer and I have this TNT right here.
Du hast da TNT?
Okay, guys. 10 seconds.
Not many of us are gonna make it, but if you do, tell my wife.
Stop. Don't run, don't
What
run.
the fuck?
Don't run. Don't run, don't run.
Oh god.
Hold it. Hold it. Don't jump over. Don't jump over. Don't jump over. Hold it. Hold it. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go.
Hello YouTube, this is Drugoli from That's the Never, and here I have another of these spotlight videos. The last one I did was on a mod called Earth Special Forces. That was some time ago. This time I have a first-person shooter game that I would like to show off, and it's something that I stumbled upon randomly with some of my friends who were playing it and asking, "Hey, what's this game you're playing? What's that about?" "Oh, this is a good game, woo!" And then I tried downloading it and I got to play with them, and really, it's amazing. And this is something that I gotta tell you first. This is a beta version of the game, so if you try and download this after watching this video, maybe watching some other videos, there are gonna be a few bugs, and it's gonna be a little bit laggy when you run into other people, like run next to a group of friendlies. It does lag a tiny bit, and it can be hard to find a server, at least for me. My friends can find good servers, but for me it's hard to find a server that has a good ping. But you can find a pretty good server and get on, play with some people. It is really, really fun. But this mod, the development started, I checked and I got my info right here. The development on the mod started over 5 years ago, so this is very, very old. It started a long time ago. But really, the team for this, they're under 10 people, have been working for it for over 5 years, and as they say on their website, let me quote here, so you can find it, "We all have this famous thing called real life, which from time to time distracts us from working on resistance and liberation." So that's why it's been taking 5 years to come up to this open beta 1.6. It's an open beta, it's not a full release yet. But it's really, really cool. And what this mod is, it's kind of the most realistic first-person shooter I've played. It's a World War II first-person shooter. So you're gonna have the Allies against, like, it's kind of German against American on some different maps. And the part about it being the most realistic game I've ever played is that there's no HUD whatsoever. What you're seeing here is not some kind of special game mode. That's how the actual game looks. There's no information telling you, like, how much ammo you have left, where you are on the map. The only thing you can actually get to come forward without having to press any buttons is if you look at a teammate, you can see his name, but it's pretty difficult to actually look straight at a teammate. I'm going to explain why that is later. But you can press some different buttons. You can press M to pull up the map where you can see where you are, where the leader of your squad is. I'm going to talk about that again later in a little bit. And you can see your different objectives and where you should be going. So some arrows pointing different places. It's going to be difficult to understand at first, but once you get it down, it's actually pretty easy. I think there's another button you can press to see how much ammo you have, but that's not the amount of ammo you have in your gun right now. That's how many magazines you have left you can chuck inside and how many grenades you have left for the classes that have grenades. So there's really not that much information telling you what you should do. You really just need to rely on teamwork and rely on your own skills, rely on how you need some sound turned on in this game, because there's going to be some cues coming from some kind of, I don't know, secret team leader somewhere, like, say, objective has been taken. That's how you know that you can now move on to the next objective. It doesn't say anything. There's nothing popping up like this has now been captured. It only says something. There's only an announcer saying that that objective was taken, and if you're an American and the German people capture an objective, it says it it says it in German. So if you're playing on American, you hear some German gibberish, then you know that the German team just captured an objective, and you need to be careful what you're doing. So, as you've probably noticed, when I'm walking around, my gun like whoops around on the side of the screen. It isn't fixed in the middle. And that's actually one really cool thing. When you try and look around, it doesn't turn the screen. Then you have to like kind of move the gun all the way to the side of the screen to make it turn. But it's actually really cool, so you don't have to turn around that much. You can basically sit more still, like walk slowly, but still look to the sides. Give you a little bit of field of view. And even when you just click the button to zoom in with your iron sights, you can still do the same thing. But if you hold the iron sight button down while zoomed in, or just directly from hipfire, then you kind of zoom in a little bit, get a little zoomed in view, and then the gun is actually fixed in the middle of the screen. So that can help you get some of these tricky long-range shots. And talking about shots, damage in the game is actually pretty high. I think if you put a shot with any gun, any of the rifles, to the chest of an enemy or a friendly, they die immediately. So you really need to be on your toes, because there's nothing telling you that it's actually an enemy that's right in front of you. You don't know how your teammates look at every distance. You can easily get killed. But what was it? That was yeah, the damage. There are different types of guns in the game, and how you get the guns is there are different, I guess you could say, classes, and the classes are mixed in different type of squads. So I think there's 4 squads on each team, the Axis and the Allies, and in each squad, depending on the map, there are different kinds of classes you can be. So the normal squad would be to have an NCO leader, which is basically a squad leader. Then it would probably be a engineer and some riflemen, or maybe just riflemen. That's like a normal standard squad. And then there could be some where there's a machine gunner who will then get a machine gun. There could be some squad with a sniper. There could be some with just a support rifle, who get a little bit bigger rifle, can do more damage, more magazines, bigger fire rate. But each side also, the Axis and the Allies, they have different weapons, and they handle a little bit differently. The riflemen, I think on the American side, the riflemen their guns do a little bit less damage, but they're semi-automatic, while the Germans have a kind of bolt action rifle. I might be mixing them up, maybe it's the opposite, but it's actually really cool that the guns are not exactly the same. Let's see, yeah, and also the maps in this game, since it's a World War II shooter, the maps are actually pretty clever. I hope I can get some of that gameplay up, but there's a really cool map. That's like, if you've watched Saving Private Ryan, that, like, situation, I think it was called D-Day or something, they have that map in the game, and even though it seems totally unfair for the Allies or the Americans to try and storm in on that beach, which it actually is, unless your team is working together, it's still really fun. And I actually haven't tried playing on the German team on that map yet, because it's fun trying to get together with your team and storm up the bunkers, run across the beach while there's thousands of Germans just firing upon you. There's explosions everywhere, and it's really cool. It puts you right in to this World War II scenario, and just here's your gun, here's your teammates, go do some objective. But yeah, it's a very team-based game too, and it's something where you have to be on your toes, and you can't win. Okay, there's like in that map the defending team they have to kill to win. It's like, I guess you could kind of look at Rush in Battlefield, where there's like total amount of people that can die, but then not quite, because you don't know how many more people that can die. There's not even a time limit showing how much time there's left on the map. The only count or anything that you'll get is when you're respawning, how much time there's left till a new wave of your comrades respawn. That's all it really tells you in terms of time. But one thing I actually forgot to say this earlier about it being very realistic. If you go and watch, I made a video on Puck Gaming, should be up by the time of this video, else it's gonna be pretty soon. There I was running around with some guy, and we were talking in-game, so we're using the in-game community system to talk to each other. He was like the leader of a tiny little squad that we formed. We were moving forward in the city, and if you're not careful, you could hear in that video that we were actually whispering pretty much the entire time, because if we speak out loud through the in-game talking system, the enemy can also hear us if they're close enough. So the enemy can hear us just as well as our teammates. Well, depending on the distance, of course. If the enemy is far away, they can't hear us. But if they're staying right next to us, they can hear me just as well as my teammates can. So this makes it really, really fun to try and infiltrate a city. Because you're walking around there with your squad leader, and you actually have to whisper. You almost get into character. It's hard to explain. The best thing to do is just try the game. And if you ever try this game, don't use anything like TeamSpeak, Ventrilo, or Skype, or whatever. Use the in-game voice system. It's the most fun. Whenever I play with any of my friends, we've never used that. We use the in-game system because that's fun. It's fun when you get all of your team to talk together, and it's actually fun trying to infiltrate. And you have to like, oh god, he's over there. So stay quiet, stay frosty. Like you have, sorry if you couldn't hear me there, but you have to really whisper and you get into character. Because if you start shouting, okay, he's right over there now, watch out, you guys, then he's just, the enemy's gonna hear and he's gonna turn around, boom, boom, you're dead. Like, that's stupid. It's really, really fun, and you can watch that video, and I don't know if you can tell, but I was having tons of fun there, even when we died in the end. Sorry for spoilers. But yeah, this mod is really, really cool. It's only in beta. I can't believe it's so good. It feels very, very polished. Even though it has a few bugs, like switching weapons can sometimes be bugged. I don't know if it's because the weapon's suddenly not there or what. But there are a few bugs, but you can overcome them and still have tons of fun playing the game. So if you want to try it out, there's going to be a link in the video description, or you can just go to resistanceandliberation.com. That's the website where you can read about the game. There's even a little wiki. There's a forum and everything, news and downloads. So you just go download the mod and try it out, and please use the in-game voice system and be a good team player, because else everyone is going to hate you. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and as I said, go try out the mod. It's tons of fun. So take care.